Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive with us. We're tackling a really fascinating book today called Mastering the Secret Rules of English Grammar.
It's a good one.
It is, and it's gotten rave reviews from, well, from what I hear, like people all over the world. Professionals in Brazil, Japan, Germany, you name it, are saying this book has been a game changer for their English fluency. So we just had to dive in and share some of the golden nuggets we found.
Absolutely. And what makes this book so unique is that it doesn't just throw grammar rules at you and expect you to memorize them.
Yeah, it's not just about memorizing, right?
Right. It's more about understanding the why behind those rules.
Mm.
The book gives you a framework, kind of like a blueprint.
Oh, I like that, the blueprint analogy.
Yeah. So instead of just telling you to put brick A on top of brick B, it shows you the structure underneath, the why. And once you understand that structure, it's like a whole new world opens up. Navigating English grammar becomes so much easier.
It's like you're saying, once you see the framework, you can start building your own sentences with confidence. So let's talk about why this matters so much, especially for someone who wants to be fluent in English, right? The book dives right into that, and it's something that really resonated with me. It's more than just being right, isn't it?
You hit the nail on the head. The book makes a really compelling case for how mastering grammar empowers you to communicate effectively, especially in a professional setting. It's about making sure your ideas are heard.
It is, and understood.
Exactly. Because think about it, when you're able to express yourself clearly and concisely, it can make a huge difference in how others perceive you.
Huge.
It can boost your confidence in meetings, presentations. It can even help you land that dream job.
It's almost like grammar becomes this secret weapon.
It really is. It gives you that extra edge. And it's not just about the professional world either. Good grammar can help you build stronger connections with people
Absolutely.
in all parts of life.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're traveling the world or just chatting with friends, clear communication it helps break down those barriers.
Yeah, those communication barriers for sure.
It builds bridges between people.
And this book, I love how it goes beyond just, here are the rules. It really shows you how those rules unlock a world of opportunities. It's exciting.
It is.
So, are you ready to unpack some of those secret rules?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's start with a topic that often trips up non-native speakers, the articles. Those tiny words,
Yeah.
a, and the. They might seem small, but trust me, they pack a punch.
They really do. They're like the unsung heroes of clarity.
Oh, I like that. Unsung heroes.
Yeah, think of it this way. They help you paint a clearer picture for the listener. They tell the listener whether you're talking about something specific or something general.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. Let's say you say, I saw a cat in the garden. You're using a because you're talking about, any cat. It could be any cat. You're not talking about a specific one. But if you say the cat in the garden is black, now you're using the because you're referring to that specific cat, the one in the garden.
Yeah.
You see, a small change, but it makes a big difference in meaning.
Yeah, it's like you're adding more detail to the picture, helping the listeners zoom in on the right information.
Exactly. And what I love about this book is it doesn't just stop at the basics.
Right, because it can get more complicated.
Exactly. It gets into those situations where choosing the right article can be tricky, especially for non-native speakers. Like, for example, when you're dealing with uncountable nouns.
Okay, those are the ones you can't count individually, right?
Right, like information or advice. You wouldn't say 3 advices, really.
Yeah.
So the book really breaks down how articles work differently with those types of nouns. And honestly, it's these subtleties that can make your English sound incredibly natural.
It's like you're cracking the code.
Exactly.
It's a fluency.
Now, are you ready to dive into another secret rule this book reveals?
Absolutely, bring it on.
All right, let's talk about something the book calls 0 articles.
Okay.
This is where things get interesting because it's about knowing when to leave the article out altogether.
Okay, that sounds intriguing. I'm all ears.
So you know how we use articles to point to a specific thing or a general thing? Well, sometimes we don't need to point at all.
Okay.
The noun can stand on its own.
Right.
Like, think about this sentence. Dogs are loyal companions. We don't need an article before dogs because we're talking about dogs in general,
Right.
not a specific group of dogs.
Yeah.
It's a statement about dogs as a whole.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's about whether you're talking about something specific or making like a broader statement.
Exactly. And the book really highlights how this 0 article concept, understanding it, can dramatically improve your fluency,
Wow.
especially in written English.
This is already eye-opening.
Right.
And to think, we're just scratching the surface of what this book covers. What other grammar gems has this book uncovered for you?
Well, one thing that really struck me was how the book tackled those pesky, irregular plurals.
Okay, irregular plurals. Those are the words that make English feel like a logic puzzle sometimes.
Right, they're like the rebels of the noun world. They refuse to follow the
Right.
rules, the usual add an S rule.
Right.
But here's the thing, mastering them is like unlocking a secret level of fluency.
It's like you're telling me there's the cheat code for sounding more like a native speaker.
Exactly.
Give me the inside scoop.
Yeah.
What does the book say about tackling these rule breakers?
It's all about recognizing the patterns,
Okay.
and thankfully, English has a lot of them. For instance, instead of adding an S to words like child, man, or woman to make them plural, we change the vowel sound completely.
Right.
So we get children, men, and women.
So it's not just about adding an S, it's about understanding how those vowel sounds can shift.
Exactly.
And the book gives you a handy guide to those shifts, right?
Exactly. It's like having a map
Yeah.
to navigate those tricky vowel changes. And once you start to see the patterns, those irregular plurals become a lot less intimidating.
That's a relief. Okay. So we've talked about articles, those tiny words that clarify meaning, and now irregular plurals, those rebellious nouns. What other grammar secrets does this book unlock for us?
Well, if you're thinking about fluency, you have to be able to ask questions confidently right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Asking questions is how we engage in conversations, how we learn, how we connect with others. But sometimes I get tripped up on how to form questions correctly in English.
Yeah.
What does the book say about that?
It emphasizes the importance of those little words we call auxiliary verbs.
Okay.
Words like do, does, did, are, is, am.
Right.
They might seem small, but they're the key to unlocking any type of question in English.
Those are the ones that often pop up at the beginning of a question.
Exactly. And the book breaks down how to use them correctly depending on what you want to ask. For example, if you want to know if someone enjoys coffee, you'd ask, do you like coffee?
Right.
Using do as your auxiliary verb.
Okay.
But if you want to know their current state, you might ask, are you tired? Using are as your auxiliary verb.
It's amazing how these subtle shifts can make a big difference in the nuance of what we're asking.
It's all about precision.
Yeah.
And once you've got those auxiliary verbs down, crafting any question becomes a breeze. Plus, this book goes a step further and even covers how to use them to form negative statements and questions, which can be a real game changer for non-native speakers.
I can see how mastering that would make you feel so much more confident in conversations. Okay, so we've covered those essential auxiliary verbs. What about those question words we use to gather specific information like who, what, when, where, why, and how? Does the book cover those too?
Absolutely. It emphasizes that each of those question words serves a unique purpose in helping you unlock the information you need.
Yeah.
For example, if you want to identify a person, you'd use who.
Right.
But if you want to understand a situation, you'd use what.
Sure.
And the book gives clear examples of how to use each one correctly so you can ask precise questions and sound completely natural doing it.
It's like having a detective toolkit for gathering information. You're giving me so many great takeaways from this book already.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, we can't talk about English grammar without addressing the elephant in the room, verbs, and those infamous tenses. What guidance does this book offer for navigating that?
It takes a very approachable strategy, focusing on the most common and essential tenses first.
Okay.
It starts with the present simple and present continuous, which can trip up even seasoned English learners.
Those are the ones that often get confused, right?
Yeah.
Could you give us a quick refresher?
Absolutely. Present simple is your go-to for routines, habits, or general truths. You'd use it to say, I eat breakfast every morning, or the sun rises in the east.
Right.
These are things that happen regularly.
Yeah.
Present continuous, on the other hand, is all about what's happening right now, this very moment. Like, I am eating breakfast right now, or the birds are singing outside.
So it's about capturing the action as it's happening, like a snapshot in time.
You got it. And the book does a fantastic job of illustrating the difference between these two tenses with lots of clear examples, making it easier to see those nuances in action.
That's so helpful. Now, what about talking about the past? I'm always a little unsure about when to use which past tense.
Well, for completed actions in the past simple tense is your best friend.
Okay.
Like, I went to the park yesterday, or she finished her work early. It's your go-to for storytelling and narrating past experiences.
That makes sense. It's like you're flipping back through a photo album of past events.
Exactly. And the book doesn't leave you hanging. It dives into both regular and irregular past tense forms, giving you a strong foundation for expressing yourself clearly in the past tense.
So it's not just about the concept of past tense, it's also about those pesky irregular verbs again. It seems like those pop up everywhere.
They really do. But that's part of what makes English so interesting, right?
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered present, past, what, about talking about the future. English seems to have so many ways to do that, and I'm never quite sure which one to use.
You're right. English loves to talk about the future. And this book provides a great starting point for navigating those waters. It focuses on will and going to, two of the most common ways to express future plans and predictions.
Okay.
So you've got options.
It's like having different tools in your toolbox for different future situations. Can you give us an example of when you might use one versus the other?
Sure. Imagine you're talking to a friend about your plans for the weekend. You could say, I think I'll go to the beach.
Okay.
You're using will because it's kind of like a spontaneous decision. You haven't really planned it out.
Yeah.
But if you've already bought your plane ticket and booked your hotel, you might say, I'm going to visit Italy next month. Now you're using going to because it implies a plan you've already made.
That's really helpful. I'm starting to see the subtle distinctions between these future forms.
And what's great about this book is that it doesn't just give you the rules, it helps you understand the nuances behind those rules. It's like having a language coach in your back pocket.
That's a great way to put it. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. Articles, irregular plurals, questions, and even a crash course on verb tenses. But I know English grammar can get even more complex.
Yeah.
What about those more nuanced grammar concepts like the perfect tenses? How does the book tackle those?
This is where the book's approach really shines. It uses a brilliant analogy to demystify perfect tense.
Okay, perfect tenses. I'll admit those can be a bit of a head scratcher. What's the secret the book uses to make those click?
You know, instead of just throwing rules at you, this book uses this really clever analogy. It compares perfect tenses to snapshots.
Snapshots.
Yeah. So think of it this way. Each perfect tense, it's like capturing a moment, a snapshot, if you will, within a longer story.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so instead of just seeing like a single event, you're getting a glimpse into how that event connects to other moments in time.
Exactly. It's all about the relationship between those actions.
Right.
Let's take the present perfect tense, for example. When you say, I have visited Paris, you're not just stating a past fact.
Right. It's more than that.
It's more than that. You're connecting that past experience to right now, to the present moment.
Yeah.
It implies that the experience of visiting Paris is still relevant to you.
Yeah?
It's like you're holding on to that snapshot and showing how it connects to your present reality.
That makes so much more sense than just trying to memorize the rules.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect tense adds another layer of meaning.
Exactly. It adds depth. And the book does a fantastic job of breaking down those layers without overwhelming you. It goes into present perfect, past perfect, even future perfect, giving you a taste of how each one works and how they add those subtle nuances of meaning to your English.
It's like you're saying these tenses are less about like strict rules and more about adding depth and precision to what you're saying.
Exactly. And once you grasp that, those scary perfect tenses, they become just another tool in your fluency toolbox.
I love that. Another tool. Okay, are you ready for another grammar mystery this book helped me solve?
Bring it on. I'm feeling like a grammar detective today.
All right, let's talk about active and passive voice. I used to get so tripped up on those, but this book completely changed my perspective.
Yeah, it's funny how one little shift can completely change how you see things.
It really is. How did it help you make sense of those?
Well, the book has this great way of explaining it. It points out that active and passive voice are like different camera angles in a movie scene.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah, so active voice is like a close-up on the action, right? It zooms in on the doer of the action. For example, the chef cooked the meal. You're emphasizing the chef's role in that action.
So it's all about who's doing what.
Exactly. Now, switch to passive voice, and it's like you've zoomed out to a wider shot. You're focusing more on the action itself. The doer might not even be mentioned. Like, the meal was cooked.
Yeah.
So you're highlighting the meal and the fact that it was cooked, but you're not specifying who did the cooking.
That's a great way to visualize it. So it's not about one being right or wrong. It's more about choosing the perspective that best suits what you're trying to say.
Exactly. And the book gives you clear examples of when each voice is more effective, so you can make those choices strategically. It's all about adding that finesse and flexibility to your English.
This is gold. Okay, before we wrap up our deep dive into this amazing grammar resource, I have to ask about one more thing, phrasal verbs. They always seem to trip me up.
Ah, phrasal verbs. Those tricky combinations, they can feel like a whole secret language within English, right? But once you start to see the patterns, they become a lot more fun and a lot less intimidating.
Okay, I'm listening. What insights did the book offer about phrasal verbs?
Well, it emphasizes that phrasal verbs are incredibly common in everyday English. So understanding them is key to sounding more natural and fluent. It's all about embracing them.
Okay, so don't be afraid of them.
Exactly. Don't shy away from them. Embrace them.
But where do you even begin? There are so many phrasal verbs.
You're not wrong. But the book does a great job of breaking them down into, manageable chunks, and it highlights the most common ones that you'll actually use.
Okay, that's helpful.
Plus, it shows you how the meaning of a verb can completely change depending on the preposition that follows it.
Can you give me an example?
Sure, let's take the verb look. On its own, pretty straightforward, right? But when you add prepositions like up, after, or into, the meaning completely transforms.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
Look up means to search for information. Look after means to take care of someone. Look into means to investigate something. Same verb, completely different meanings.
It's amazing how those little prepositions can just completely transform a word.
They're powerful little things, those prepositions.
That's for sure. What's really striking me about this whole conversation is this book isn't about memorizing grammar rules. It's about understanding them.
It really is.
It's about giving you the tools and the understanding to make English your own.
It's about owning your English.
Yes, I love that. This deep dive has been incredibly eye-opening, and I feel like I've gained so much valuable insight from this book, Mastering the Secret Rules of English Grammar. It's a game changer for anyone who wants to take their English fluency to the next level. If you're ready to unlock the secrets of English grammar, this book is for you. And as always, keep practicing, keep exploring, and remember, every step you take on your language learning journey is a step towards greater fluency and confidence. That's it for our deep dive today.
Happy learning, everyone.